Right. I guess it's recording. Hey, welcome everyone to Opinions Are Stupid with me and Jason, my cousin. Um, this week is kind of big. It was a big week, as you can tell.
Huge,
Huge
huge.
week. But we're gonna start quickly with what happened over the last few days with our friends before we get to the Godzilla shit. I know that's why you're tuning in.
Because that's what the people want. We give you what the people want,
People,
basically.
give the people what they want. The peoples. We're gonna make a noise now. Don't worry about it. All right, there it is. Two noises. Sorry. Um, so, so, yeah. Matt Getz, huh?
Who knew?
He's a creep. First of all, he has a son that he adopted. What the fuck's up with that shit? And first I was like, all right, man, whatever. And then he's taking 17-year-old girls across a border somewhere. What the hell's going on?
These guys. The funny thing was when he went on Fox and Tucker Carlson. Did you see that one?
I
And
didn't,
he's
but
and
I read an article about it. It was like,
I saw the thoughts about it, and he's trying to bring Tucker into his world, and Tucker's like, hold on. I'm not going down this path. This is a little bit too crazy
Tucker
for me,
Carlson,
basically.
Mr. Creep, was he out creep Tucker Carlson?
He
That
was like,
guy's
we
a
were having
creep.
dinner. We were having dinner. Don't you remember when the FBI agent came over to us and try to do some conspiracy theories? And Tucker Carlson was like, no, I don't know what you're talking
What are
about.
you
And
talking
basically
about?
like, don't get me involved in this.
Stop
It was
drinking.
classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, so
Oh man.
that brings it back down to Matt Gaetz being a fucking asshole, and the realization that he has to go, and he's even going to think of quitting because there's some shit behind this. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can call it conspiracy, like Q is, or I'm sorry, this was planned. It's all part of the plan.
Right. It's right.
Uh,
The funny thing about these conspiracies, they take months and years to evolve. They don't have, it's not like a couple of days. Like apparently, according to my guess, this was in the process for like 7 or 8 months. Like they want you that badly that they come in for you 8 months later. It's
well,
crazy.
that's because he was actually. It wasn't just because of that. He's a prick, and he thinks he can get away with shit. And
Right.
no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's lots of Democrats who are also pricks. I'm not. I want people to understand this. My issue is not just with the ideology of the GOP. I don't like them. All right, I don't like conservatives. I don't like where they come from. I think they're giant hypocrites. But my issue with laws is that we need to help people. Like we talked about before, government is
Right.
there to facilitate defense and making sure shit happens. Like making sure the trains run on time and we have roads to drive and there's an army to protect us or get involved in other affairs or something. I don't know what the fuck that's about. But
Right.
anyway,
National
you know what I'm
national
saying?
emergency, like hurricanes, things of that.
Yeah,
Right.
they're supposed to be there to facilitate the action and make sure that people get taxed properly and make sure that that people are fed. I'm sorry, the socialism shit where people are like, socialism, fuck you, feed the kids. You know what I'm saying? Help people get a fucking house, a home over their heads. Fuck you. I don't. No one helped me because you're stupid. Because my people help my moms. People help my ass. Uh, so there's that thing, and I don't want to hold that against anybody. But the realization is, the more you take away from people, the more you make government about you, right? Not about or your specific type of flavor of politics. The less you're helping anyone, right? Because that thing shrinks. The ideology keeps shrinking, and then it becomes about you and your 5,000 constituents. And although you have to agree that politics is local, right? You got to do what's best for everyone, not just like the
Right.
10 people you fucking represent. You know what I mean? And if you have an issue with the law, work it out. But don't just say, like, oh, Republicans, I'm not voting for this. Like, what's his name? Crimshaw Martin, or whatever his name is.
Right.
the guy in the wheelchair.
Right. Right.
That guy's a prick.
The
He's another one. He's also talking about how great he didn't vote for the stimulus, but he's saying that things, look at the stimulus, what the stimulus is doing in my constituency. He's like, fuck you, asshole, you didn't vote for anything. Get the fuck out of here. It's like another guy. Throw him out.
the thing about the Matt Gaetz thing, which is very interesting, and it follows the line. because William Barr opened this investigation. This wasn't like, it just happened. This isn't a Biden conspiracy. This has been in the works for like 8 months. So you praise William Barr for being, down the line and helping Trump, and he's a great guy according to you. But now that it's turning on you, and it's like they're coming after me. It's some kind of conspiracy. It's like we can't have it both ways. The law is the law, and are we gonna be a nation of laws, or are we just gonna be a free for all? Because that's what's kind of turning into at this point, which is kind of crazy.
To your point, and now we'll move to Ted Cruz, who's on the border, acting up on the border, talking about some people drew. I don't even know what he's fucking talking. The guy's a fucking dope. He's dope. Ocasio-Cortez today told him that he.
Well, hold on. But before you go that far, the guy's like what, a Yale or Harvard grad, so he knows something. He's playing a game. It's all a system. You know that it's a game that he's playing, and he thinks that he can use this Trumpism to get to a certain goal. I mean, that's really what's going on here.
It's like there's like it's like the Republicans are just ridiculous. Here's the thing: Biden's approval rating is over 50%. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's over 50%. When it comes to the treatment of the vaccine, it's at 68%. Right? And you know where that 32% is coming from? The negative ratings is coming from. That sliver of the populace that listens to Fox News and only votes for people like Trump. So, and who, by the way, who will not get vaccinated? The number one, like I said before, the number one people who will not get vaccinated in the United States are white Republican conservative men, which doesn't make any sense because those are the people that are usually getting sick and dying. Older ones, by the way, between the ages of 38 and 60. How I know this, I don't know. But you can look it up. Please feel free to fix me if you think I'm full of shit. Look it up. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening out there. I mean, they're getting mad at Biden for trying to pass an infrastructure bill, and the governor of South Dakota, that woman that tried to kill people by having them get coronavirus, she's like, I don't believe there's infrastructure in this bill. It's like, stupid. Why are you stupid, man? It's like, why don't people just say to them, what are you being done for? Like, I don't get it. On CNN, Lemon, who I think is the most outspoken journalist on CNN, who will just basically speak his mind, right, to the most part, does not call these people out on the mat and say, why are you being dumb? Stop being dumb. Come on. You're an intelligent person. Who are you talking to? You know what I mean? Right. People don't do that. And I kind of feel like it needs to happen. You got to call them out directly on their ridiculousness. Directly. Right. One of the reasons why I'm saying this, and by the way, I know I'm talking too much, but I want to say one more thing. Ocasio-Cortez.
Let it out. This is what this forum is for. Let it out. Don't keep it inside.
Ocasio-Cortez, right? Who I like for lots of different reasons. One of them is the fact that she worked as a waitress in New York. That's one of the toughest jobs anyone could fucking ever have, or a bartender. Still a fucking tough job, right? The conservatives keep making fun of her because she's like, she doesn't know anything about she also has a BA or something, or a master's in political whatever it is. I don't know. She has some kind of something. They keep telling her that she doesn't know her job, and then she keeps talking to them about how she knows her job, right? And you didn't see that. And there's this thing that she does, right, where she kind of calls them out on their own game, and then when they come at her, she comes out on them again. And it's what some people would call presentado. If you are Puerto Rican or Dominican, Puerto Ricans say this more than Dominicans say because Dominicans are just presentado, for the most part.
They say it about us. Puerto Ricans say it about Dominicans, basically.
Yeah, all the time. Presentado means you present as if you're getting in front of somebody. You're cutting your line. You're being inappropriate, right?
Right.
I think that her entire job should be about being inappropriate and calling people like Matt Geatz, and Ted Lieu does the same thing, and I really love that guy. Calling Matt Geatz and Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz to the mat, and says to them, come on, and she says it in a very, very New York way, which I really appreciate. Like, she doesn't back down from these guys, and I think that. As Democrats and as forget about Democrats, as politicians worth your salt, you need to be able to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right?
Oh, little Kenny Rogers in the show.
This week is gonna be very interesting this week, for the most part, right? So there's that kind of stuff. I don't know. To me, it's like she feels like where we should be going, not where we were. you know?
Right.
And I think that's incredibly important. Okay, I had enough. I said
Well, she has the voice of the new generation, if you want to use the Pepsi term. So, I mean, we're growing younger. We're growing younger in our demographics. So, if it's not her, it's going to be some other voice that's going to, have the people behind her. So,
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, the boomers are dying off.
right.
Can't happen soon enough. No offense. And no offense. Seriously, I know there's a lot of boomers
Right.
out there that are not. But the thing is, if you had trouble programming your VCR, then you don't know anything about technology. Sit down.
Wait a minute. I'm having trouble doing my Nest thermostat right now, so
Yeah,
I shouldn't be the one talking. Right?
But you know what I'm saying? Like, this is boomers on their phones.
It's like 118 degrees in my house right now, so I can't really complain.
Yeah, well, you need to figure that out, buddy. Can't help you. Call them up. Hello, Nest. Yes, I can't turn it down.
I know.
What? Turn it down? Yeah, I'm telling you I can't do it.
Right.
Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm telling you I can't turn it down. By the way, this is the old-timey phone. It hangs like
Yes,
It's
exactly.
not my cell phone, because in my cell phone I'd be doing this.
The rotary one.
Old-timey phone, cell phone. Old-timey phone, cell phone. Fist to the ear, old-timey phone. Holding the thing in your hand like it looks like a thing, cell phone. So that's the difference, kids. Just so you know. It was a joke being a boomer. I can't turn on the net. See? Okay. Just want to help you with comedy.
It's a joke.
This is comedy.
It's a joke, son. You missed it.
I'm trying to give you lessons. Lessons in comedy.
Yeah.
Of course, that's getting so old that nobody gets it anymore. But
Yeah.
what are you going to do? You want to talk about baseball?
What about yes? But before we do, WHO. What did you think of their breakdown saying that the coronavirus was not created from a lab? What did you think?
Yeah.
Or at least information is stating that. What according to them.
WHO said, "Hey, we looked at the facts, and nothing said it was coming from a lab." But you said that you heard a certain somebody say that there's a lot of facts that maybe it came from a lab.
Right.
I think, and I'm going to let you have your piece.
Right.
I think that viruses are interesting things, not living or dead, right? One of the things we've learned about viruses over the year. They're in a state. And they're very interesting, and they're very common. There's something like 1.5 billion viruses.
Oh, yeah. Coronaviruses are not new to us. It's just how they develop. It's different.
How they develop and what they do to us when we get them. We're probably carrying a whole mess of them right now. If you're not, you don't have to be sick to carry a virus. These things live. They just or die. We're not entirely sure yet. But to your point, there's something very interesting that happened that you were telling me about this podcast. Please.
Right. So there's a scientist that's named Brett Weinstein, and he's been on things like Rogan, and he's been on Bill Maher, and I've heard him, throughout. Once Corona started, and I kind of just followed him here and there because he has this theory where his main study is bats. Like he's studied bats for years, kind of thing. So he does other things, but he exactly in the cave, and he studied bats. And he put out this podcast a couple of months ago that I sent to you that you have to listen to, just because there's things that he says that makes this coronavirus different. Okay. And one of the things he said was, Trump came out immediately from day one and said this was, created in a lab. And because of that, 50% of the population, meaning in the US, basically said, no way, and 50% backed him. So he basically said he polarized the issue, and he didn't let the facts actually play themselves out.
Right.
Which he thought was a problem.
I think it's a problem.
So, yes. So some of the basis of what he's saying is this virus has not behaved like a normal coronavirus. Like we have a track record with coronavirus, as we've spoken in the past.
Right, because this is version 19. This is the 19th one that we found. Right,
and not that we found it in, not that it was, how do I say? And the other viruses that we have seen a certain pattern, a certain development in them. So basically, what he's saying is, the virus, from what we know, seems to affect more people indoors than outdoors. It seems like the sun or vitamin D seems to disrupt the virus's ability to mutate or to grow and to infect people. Okay. And he says, so that's one thing. So he says, in theory, that could point to some type of lab containment, because normal coronaviruses, it doesn't matter. If they're indoors or outdoors, they react as coronaviruses do, no matter what. The other thing that he was saying was usually it takes months or even years in most cases for coronavirus to get, let's say, from an animal to a human, because the leap doesn't normally take days or weeks. It takes versions of the leap to happen. You might get sick of it, but just because you get sick doesn't mean you can easily transmit it to another person. And he's saying that this virus has dramatically gone from that, couple of months to a couple of years leap to a couple of days to a couple of weeks, which is extraordinary. He also checked the virus itself, and he's saying that when you look at the virus, there's certain breakdowns of the way that the virus is structured that's not normal. There's certain things that aren't seen in normal coronavirus. I can't get too technical on that. You would have to listen to it. But basically, the way the strand is developed, let's just say it's A, B, C, D, for example, the normal coronavirus. This one has A, B, C, D, and then goes back to like E, F. And they're like, where do these other kind of strands come from? This isn't normal. And this type of virus that they say was in an animal and then jumped to a human. You know what I'm saying?
So that's all very interesting. By the way, the name of that podcast is Brett Weinstein's Dark Horse Podcast, and you can find that on any podcast things, whatever. And it's the specific one that Jason's talking about is number 65, Because Science, with Brett Weinstein and Heather Haying, who's his wife.
His wife, and she's also a scientist, right?
She's also a scientist.
So
two scientists.
So
one might be a crackpot, but there's two of them. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, right. So basically, he's saying when you start adding these things together, it just seems that there was some type of manipulation in a lab. He's not saying that let's say the Chinese did it to hurt people. They're basically, he's saying maybe they were testing it out, or maybe they saw this virus and they were kind of like testing to see it, just like we test viruses or diseases, and this just happened to get out. And it got a little bit out of control. They didn't know how to control it, so they basically shut everything down and said, we know nothing about it. So he's saying, and to his credit, it is important where the virus came from, because it helps us understand how we attacked it or how to attack it.
Right. Yeah.
So what he's saying is we shouldn't have discredited what Trump said so early, but because it was Trump, it caused this ripple effect. And now even the WHO is like, we want nothing to do with it. It's not a virus.
But you understand where that idea that Trump had came from, right? And one of the reasons why it was dismantled is because it came from the conservative, crazy ass QAnon side of the web.
Right.
And somebody put it on, because he sees these things that people at him on Twitter, and he's like, it came from a lab. Look at me, I'm stupid. And and to your point, that is unfortunate, because I would like to know what the truth is. But that being said, there have been documented times when when a version of a virus has mutated from point A to point B very, very quickly. That being said, I ain't no scientist. You know what I'm saying? And
we're just giving you both angles so we can break it down.
If you want to listen to it, please feel free. Again, that's Brett Weinstein's Dark Horse Podcast, number 65. Because Science, with his wife.
It's just, I just think it's an interesting perspective from someone who's actually trying to understand the science, not trying to understand the political ramifications, but the science. Now we can sit here and say that's crack, pot kind of talk, but if there's some truth of it and the science, it's just interesting to kind of understand that perspective. He's also the one that said, when you look at coronaviruses, when you look at the shots, he would prefer the Pfizer shot over the Moderna shot, for example. And the reason why he says that is because the Pfizer shot actually has coronavirus elements in it. So it has more of a traditional kind of old school process that we humans know about instead of this new Moderna. Now, he said, if you had a choice, pick whatever you could do, like, get vaccinated is what he's saying. But he's saying that if he had a choice, he would probably pick the Pfizer one because it's more aligned to what we have dealt with in the past. So we kind of know more about that one than the Moderna one, for example.
I will tell you, that makes a lot of sense to me. So that's great. And I also will tell you, I got the first one I get my hands on.
I agree. But he said the same thing. He said the same thing. Don't get me wrong. He's saying the same thing. He's just saying, like, when you break it down, if people are concerned about what to get, this is kind of a way of thinking about it. And he does mention it on that podcast.
And I think it's important. And by the way, I'm all about getting all the information that you need. All right. So don't think that I'm telling you that this guy's a crackpot. I have no idea. I haven't heard of the podcast. I was supposed to, but I haven't.
You failed your assignment.
But I will. Well, my producer wasn't around. I was like, "Could you listen to the fucking
Right.
podcast? You're not going to listen to the podcast? Why won't you listen to the podcast?"
Erno.
I was too busy baking carrot cakes this weekend.
Nice. Look at you.
Yeah,
Bobby Flay, here he comes.
it was awful. No. It was delicious, but it fell apart in different ways. So I needed I gotta next time I'll do something different. But
Right.
it's still over there somewhere. It's really good.
So I'll trade you a carrot cake for a tres leches cake. We'll have a bake off one day. How about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
If you want,
let's do
I'll make carrot cupcakes.
Look at
You and
you.
your lovely daughters. How about
Very
that?
fancy.
How about it? Because they come out of the thing a little better. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
they're
kids
very
love the
bready.
cupcakes. Let's be
Carrot
honest.
cake is very bread-like, so it's not like it's like you get a cupcake and you're like, oh, how delicious, and you're like, oh, it's like you need like a glass of milk
Right.
or what I'm
And with the
saying?
cupcakes, what about the frosting? As long as you
Yeah,
dump
the
through frosting,
frosting, which
that
was very good, but I think what I need to do is add more milk. I need it to be a little bit more whippy.
Right.
And next time, make triple the amount because for some reason it's like there wasn't enough frosting to go around. What's buzzing? Something's buzzing. Oh, my phone. What's up? Everything okay? Everything's fine. Everything's fine, folks. Nothing to worry about. So
Now, what about baseball? Are you
what
excited
about
opening day?
baseball? Today's April 1st. It's opening day.
Right. And the Mets just signed Lindor for $341 million over 10 years. Very interesting.
They got the meats, so to speak.
It's crazy. As a Met fan, a year ago at this time, Met fans were banging their heads up against the wall because of Fred Wilpon and how stingy they were. And just a year later, we're signing players for 10 years for $341 million. It's
Different
crazy.
management, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
Steve Cohen, who's a billionaire.
My biggest problem with the Mets and most teams that suck right now. And by the way, I'm not saying the Mets suck. They can do better. They're not the Brooklyn Nets. You know what I'm saying? Or the Knicks. Jesus. I'm kidding. The Knicks are terrible though. I'm not gonna lie.
They're young. They're young. You gotta give them time.
Yeah,
They're young.
but that's fine. You know, my thing is to keep baseball, to keep sports exciting. The idea of Moneyball, which can be used in that formula can be used in all different sports, makes
Right.
you don't have to go. You're as a team, you don't have to go to the playoffs, but be in it. Like be in it. Like have me like, oh man, they got as far as
Right.
far as second seed or whatever. Second place in my
Right.
division. Fine. That I'd be proud of that. You're not going to
Right.
expect them to go every year, but you
Right.
know, and football's a different. Maybe this doesn't work for football. Maybe it does. But the idea of having people that could hit the 3-point shot, because that's what basically happened. Hey, I'm a basketball guy. How do I get points up? Because I have no team. I get a guy that can hit 3-point shots. I get two guys that can hit 3-point shots, and they don't have to worry about defense at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's
Right.
that kind of idea. And the fact is that the Mets should be playing that. The Mets should be doing just like the A's did, the Orioles did, some other people did, where they brought in kids that could just, at many times at bat, they hit the ball. Can he field? Yeah, he's okay. But when he's up there, he hits the ball. And that's kind of what they need.
Well, understand that in the Mets situation, the Mets had the Wilpons were destroyed by Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme about 10 years ago. And that really just sunk them in the sense where they became, Bank of America was basically telling the Mets how much money they can spend because Bank of America gave out a loan and was like, you can only spend this amount of money on teams, on players. So when you have a bank telling you, your organization, how much you can or can't spend, and you're, putting yourself in a negative situation like that, it just becomes a domino effect. So,
well, thank you for that history lesson. As you know, I do like baseball, but I like baseball movies more than the actual sport.
right.
Not gonna lie.
By the way, if you like baseball movie, the Mets GM Alderson, he's part of the whole Moneyball game. He started Moneyball with Oakland back in the 80s and 90s. So
There you go.
there you go. He's no Brad Pitt, but
We need him. He's our only hope. But
speaking of hope, we got hope. We got hope this week because of a great movie that came along.
well, we're not done talking about baseball though.
Okay, you're feeling
Yeah,
it today.
what's
Look
up
at
with
it.
the Mets? What's up? What happened? They're out, right? They're not playing this week. What's going on?
The COVID hit the Washington Nationals. So basically, one person tested positive, and they believe 5 or 6 other players might have come in contact. So they think hopefully by Saturday they'll play because they have this minor league structure that they'll bring guys, from the minors up. But they're not sure if they can do that in time based on testing, based on protocols. So it might be that the Mets don't play this weekend at all and probably start, their series Monday, which sucks because you're kind of behind the 8 ball already. But but the reality is this is what leagues are going to face. Like, you're going to run into this. NBA faced it, NFL faced it. Until everybody gets vaccinated, until we get deeper into the summer, this is just part of life for the next few months.
You know how I feel about vaccinations right now? One of the things I'm thinking about, like, they were like, people over 90, people under, over 80, people over 70, people who are working in the streets and whatever, like, you have to wait until those guys are done until you could get the hospital workers in, which I was like, no, get the hospital workers in first.
Right.
The fuck?
Right. Right.
Oh, you know who else? Get the grocery people in too.
Right. You want to get schools open? Get the teachers in there. Right.
Not that I have anything against older people, but you got to think about the vectors and how vectors work, right? And how people how people work against things. And I think their whole thing was, let's protect the older people and then let's worry about it. And I'm like, no, protect the people who are on the front lines first, and that will ensure that your vectors will drop. Right?
Right.
Before anybody else, protect them. Protect everybody who works around those older people. Protect everybody who works around hospitals. Protect everyone who works, where you go to your store all the time. Get them vaccinated first. And then, police, firefighters, you know what I'm saying? EMTs, all those people get vaccinated first. Then you start worrying about populace. Because those are the people that are going to be doing that shit that gets people sick. And if you want to keep that vector moving, that's how you do it. Yes, you know what? Split it. Older people, and then, group A of what I just said. I don't know. But I just didn't like the fact that they were like, this guy's 90, he should get a vaccine. No! Right. That guy's like living on borrowed time. You're going to give him a vaccine? The vaccine might kill him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No offense to older people or grandmas and grandpas. That's, what's her name? The woman who wrote Ramona died.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And she was 103 or some shit. And Beverly Clearly. And by the way, God bless Beverly Clearly, because she gave us such beautiful works of literature that for young people.
Yes.
But God, I don't believe in God. I got you, God. Don't write to me, folks. I'm not going to care. You can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But to that point, these people aren't the people that are connected to the people that could get you sick. And if we were serious about it, and I understand the CDC and I understand the political implications and I understand all that shit, but let's not play games. You know what I'm saying? Right. And let's think about how things work and how things break out.
Well, in the sports world, in New York City, because of COVID restrictions, you can only do like 20% of capacity. So the Yankees played today, opening day. They lost 3-2 to Toronto today. But what was interesting is they had a packed capacity for COVID restrictions, meaning 10,800 people. Like, that's the max that they could have.
Wearing masks too. You got to wear a mask when you're there.
And you have to wear. Now, compare that to before this podcast. I was watching the Dodgers Rockies game in Colorado. Full house, 50,000 people in the stands. So
that's because Colorado doesn't care about people.
It's just one of those crazy things. Like, yes, we're different states, and yes, different parts of the country, but like, there has never been from day one a national kind of response to this, and because of that, we're just kind of going 2 steps forward and 2 steps back.
Because people don't fucking, because you know why? Because people are fucking stupid. And they're like, well, our neighborhoods we won't be able to work. No, you're not going to be able to work. Ask your government for more money, period. That's it. We're not going to be able to work. Okay, don't work. Stay home. Lower the curve, all that other shit. What are you doing? It's like, to me, it doesn't make any sense. Why did Texas open every store and we're open for business? You know why? Because that was a political move and it was dumb.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sorry to hear that some people, I mean, first of all, thank you, baseball, for being here, because we need the distraction, for God's sakes.
Yes.
But Also, I kind of feel like it's not, it becomes this kind of like stupid, like you said, one step forward, two steps back. We're not going to get the fuck out of here until we start treating shit seriously.
Right.
Um,
Spring
but I don't
break was
care.
out of
I got
control
vaccinated.
in Florida. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You could go to spring break and hang out with
I got
those
vaccinated.
20
Yeah, fucking all the people in Florida is like, that's not us, man. We're at home. These are the crazy people. From Florida.
Right. Right.
Hey, I went to Florida. Went to spring break. Brought back COVID. How you doing?
Oh, it's crazy.
Whatever. I mean, fine. You want to live. If you want to live, that's how you want to live your life. Great. Just don't cough. Don't come near me. Don't come near me.
Right.
So, I think we're going to talk about the main event now. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got people, by the way. I got people texting me, by the way, cousins of mine, asking if we saw the movie.
Oh,
and
I
I'm
haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah, I just got the.
My sister on Facebook was like, my brother reminded me that it's time I'm gonna watch that movie. I'm like, holy shit.
So yesterday,
yeah. So yesterday, HBO Warner Brothers Media dropped the bomb that is Godzilla versus King Kong.
right?
Or Godzilla. I'm sorry, they don't use the word King Kong. They use the word Kong. So
Kong,
Godzilla
right.
versus Kong. And
not the same thing.
and on Monday I bought tickets to the show that I saw yesterday in the theater, not too far away from here. This place called Crestodis in Secaucus. It has these big chairs and shit. And
right.
They were only doing 25% capacity. I wore a mask the whole time.
Did it feel weird going to a movie after a year and a half of not going to a movie?
It felt good. Like it felt like
right.
Holy shit, I'm in a movie theater.
Right.
Popcorn, throwing popcorn under my mask. There was nobody around me. The best thing about it is they tell you, they let you know that they put in new filters. It's 25% capacity. It's like a night show is cheaper than a weekend show, whatever.
Yeah.
There was maybe 30 people in the auditorium altogether in a place that holds 100. So it was a good amount of people. Really big screen, which brings me to what I said before we get into any spoilers, because there will be spoilers, folks. Don't sleep on this. If you haven't seen the movie, turn this off and go see it. It's on HBO Max as well, which is where
which is how I saw it
twice with your daughter with a lot of ice cream.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
The movie could not be contained by the space of the screen. The way it was shot, and I know a lot of it was CGI. The way it was shot, there was like stuff, you felt like there was stuff you weren't like the screen was your eyes, which you were seeing with your eyes, and there was shit happening off the screen that you couldn't see. And that to me was really, really cool. I really, really liked that. And every monster battle was great.
Yes.
Like cage match great. Right?
Yeah, it was like a Rampage arcade game back in the day. Great.
There's a couple of shit that happens that doesn't make any sense, but it's okay. Like King Kong.
Right.
One of the ongoing things about the Monarch Godzilla movies, the legendary Godzilla movies, is there's this idea of the Hollow Earth theory. They introduce it. Yes. They introduce it in the first movie, and they make a really big thing about it in King Kong. Kong Skull Island.
Kong.
Right.
Right.
And in this, and they talk about it again in the third movie. They don't really like. They talk about interconnected tunnels and shit. And Godzilla ends up dead in one of them, and the Atlantis tunnel, and they have to get a nuclear device in there, or whatever. Who cares? Anyway, they really go whole hog on that idea for this movie. Yeah. And there's a scene where Godzilla blows a hole through the center of the earth. Right.
That's right. That's right.
And King Kong is in the center of the earth, and he climbs up that hole, which makes me think, go fuck yourself.
And even Kong looked up like, really? Like in his face, he was like, really? We're doing this?
Tell it to the hole. I mean, you know what I'm saying? The center of the earth.
Right.
Kong's like 2 days later, Kong is still climbing. I mean, come on.
Even on Kong's face, he was like, really? We're doing this? All right, let's go.
He got his axe, so he's bringing his axe. So there was a couple. I'm talking enough, but we can go through the steps of the movie itself. Right. What did you think? And I haven't told you what I thought of the movie, just how I felt about it. So what do you think?
Yes. Okay, so I enjoyed it. Right. I enjoyed it for what it was. because I'm not going in looking for, Academy Award, winning here, acting. I'm looking for these two monsters. When it comes to these type of movies, I want to see the monsters fight. That's what I want. That's what I care about. I don't really care what the humans are doing. I want them to just be facilitating to get to a point where they can fight. That's just the way I look at it. And on that note, he walks away.
Keep going.
So I have to stress it on that level. However, to compare it a little bit, back in the day, we had Kong and Godzilla in the original movie when they fought, right? Mm-hmm. They made it so that Kong. So remember, at one point in the old movie, Godzilla and Kong were fighting each other, and Kong was getting his ass beat. Yeah. And then he got hit with electricity, and he got stronger, and he got pumped up, and he started beating Godzilla's butt. Yeah. So basically, I was waiting for that in this.
Oh, you're waiting for electricity.
I was waiting. No, I was waiting when he went to Middle Earth, if you want to call it, or back, when he went to Hollow Earth. When he goes there, I'm thinking he's going to get some kind of energy that's going to make him stronger or better, so that when he fights Godzilla, it becomes like a bigger grudge match. Not this axe thing that he finds. That's my big, problem with it, because I still don't think that Kong could beat Godzilla in any capacity the way he was in this movie.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Based on how big Godzilla was, based on the powers that he has. I mean, Godzilla is now like, a god in a sense. You know what I'm trying to say?
Team Zilla? Is that what you are, Team Zilla? Is that what
no, I actually wanted Kong to win because I like the old movie. I liked how they did it back in the day.
Kong! Come back, Kong!
That, and I wish we're gonna get to who they team up with later, but I wish the people that were creating this other bad guy would have been a little cooler. You know what I'm trying to say? I didn't think they were interesting enough to sustain that part of the story.
First of all,
those are my two gripes.
There's only one character in the entire movie that was interesting.
Right.
The black guy. The black guy that was doing all the
conspiracy theory guy.
That guy was interesting. Everybody else was kind of like phoning it in. Like I felt like, they're like, oh, you want me to say what now? That's on the script?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Godzilla's killing people, and we don't know why.
Right.
You want another take? Okay. Godzilla, he's killing people. We don't know why. Les Kirk, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
Yeah.
So, but that black guy was great. He was really, really good. I really liked him. And Millie Vanilli Brown, whatever her name is, me, not a fan.
Right.
I like her on Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yeah.
I don't know why they're hooking. I guess they're trying to get younger people to see the movies. They're hooking them up,
right? Because you got the Stranger Things crowd, right?
By the way, there is definitely it was definitely had a very Spielberg E.T. feel with the people, right?
Yes, right. Yes. There's some truth to that.
It did feel like that, like these kids, what are they up to? And they had those very similar shots, like from E.T., like the way they set up the cameras, the way there was a lot of that. So if you watch the movie again, you'll see what I'm talking about. Goonies, kind of Goonies feel. This director really was thinking about how to make that work, and I was very impressed by that. Now, I'm going to talk about what you said, and I didn't even think about the electrical thing from King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Right. Because remember, he was getting his ass beat. Electricity saved him and gave him a second wind. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that even though that might have been cheesy or corny, it showed he kind of gained to another level. I wanted him to get to that level. You know what I'm trying to say?
I wanted him to fight an octopus, but you can't get everything.
But he fought those lizard
things.
Kind of
King Kong vs. Godzilla, by the way, the original Toho movie from 1959, or Godzilla vs. Kong, the original Toho movie. Right. Had some great shit happen in it. And if you haven't seen that movie, it's a piece of crap. All right, there's guys in suits. Come on, but
right.
As kids, Jason and me, as kids, it was like the main event. It's like fucking Ali versus Frazier, and
it's true.
Kong puts a tree in Godzilla's mouth. Holy shit! Right. Holy shit!
Yeah. They try to recreate that, by the way, in this with the when he tried to put the weapon in Godzilla's mouth at one point. Remember when he kind of pushed him off the tomahawk, and he was like, "What are you doing?"
That was really good.
Get this out of my face.
But every time they hit each other, it was fucking great. The way the models worked were great. The beginning of the movie, Godzilla trudges in from the water to this like facility that he destroys. For some reason, we don't know why. Why?
Right.
But the reason why is, we just tell him. We could just tell him.
Yeah.
Spoil it
because
immediately.
he doesn't like Pensacola, Florida, basically.
Yeah, he doesn't like Pensacola. No, I'm gonna spoil it. Here it is. Remember when I said there was gonna be a fucking third monster in this movie, and people were like, "No, it's gonna be Godzilla, just Godzilla and King Kong fight." I'm like, no, it's gonna be a movie where they fight and then they team up to fight the bigger monster. And the bigger monster at this point was Mechagodzilla, basically a Godzilla, a robot Godzilla puppet that is actually one of the coolest things I've seen in these movies. Not because I like the way it looked, right?
Yeah, I agree. I did not like that. I agree.
Because it looked too stupid. Like they could have made it a little bit more like Mogura or the robots from the Godzilla versus the Toho stuff. I would have liked it a little bit more. But I guess they were trying to say, well, this thing's kind of like, no, don't do that. Just make it look like a fucking robot. A robot Godzilla.
I agree.
The toys came out for this 2 weeks ago and people lost their shit, which is always the best thing. If you want spoilers, kids, if you don't want spoilers, stay away from the Target toy section before that movie comes.
Right. It's true.
Because that shit will be right there. Plot point, fucking chapter and verse, right there. I think they had a submarine playset for Fast and the Furious, The Fate of the Furious or whatever, and that completely took me out of the movie.
Good times.
Okay. So getting back to this, they have this robot that Godzilla wants to destroy because he's like, Godzilla senses with this Godzilla sense of something that's greater than him that he has to kill. He's like, that's how the Titans work. That's why every time he goes up to King Kong, he has to beat Kong because he's a Titan. I don't know, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, he's got Spidey sense now.
It worked in the other movies. There's just a lot of fun stuff that happens. It's just a fun movie, and every time they fight is great. The reasons why they fight doesn't make a difference. The giant monster battle at the end in Hong Kong is really fantastic. Just like a lot of fun, like a really lot of fun. King Kong fights Godzilla in Hong Kong after crawling up a hole that's thousands of feet, hundreds of thousands of feet long, and then King Kong fights Godzilla, and Godzilla and King Kong both fight the robot, the Mega Godzilla, which gets some sort of sentience. Right?
Yes.
It gets possessed by the spirit of Ghidorah's head.
Right, which was a little cheesy. That was the other part of it.
But I was okay with that.
Right. Right.
I was okay with that.
That's kind of why I saw the movie the second time, because there were certain things that I'm just into the other things, and I was like, wait a minute, how did this thing just kind of become its own self-sufficient robot? So I had to see it again. So, and that was my excuse to get the kids out of this. I could hear it in peace, without them screaming in my ear. So that's basically what it is.
Yeah, you just watched it again. The kids were like, got quiet. Is that what happened?
Yes. Now that being said, there were some cool shots. Did you see in Hong Kong when Kong is running away from Godzilla and he's kind of going like a building that looks like the Empire State Building? Did you see that part where it's like, yeah, right, which is really cool. I was like, oh, little homage kind of thing. And also the one that I really like when he's in Middle Earth, Inner Earth, whatever we're gonna call it, and he jumps and he looks like he's going to touch kind of like God, like in the famous painting.
Yeah,
remember that scene? Like it had the reminiscence of him, like kind of like God creating, human kind of thing. That little spark, and he kind of looked like he was gonna touch the hand. Yeah, so that was really cool.
Grabs the hand and then inverts, and now he's on walking. It's like, come on. There's a lot of stuff like that, but it's goofy. Right. It's like goofy fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, if you get a chance to see it in the theater, you should go. Please go see it in the theater if you can. Wear your spacesuit if you haven't been vaccinated. But I can tell you, it was hilarious. It was just great. I had a great freaking time.
Right. How were the people around you? How were they reacting? Just was it any kind of energy at all, or just no?
Well,
I always find that interesting when I see
people.
the movie.
Well, the movie was loud, so I really didn't hear it. There wasn't enough people in there for you to hear anything.
Right.
But when I left the theater and I was walking outside, right? I was leaving the theater, walking outside. There was these guys that were hanging out the door. And one of them said to the other one, "Yo, remember when King Kong was about to beat Godzilla? Yo, I got tight." And I was like, "That's what I'm talking about. That's
Right,
what I'm
right,
talking. That shit is awesome. I mean, it's
right,
stupid, but it's awesome. And stupid meaning, come on,
right.
who gives a fuck? It's like they're two rubber suits fighting. Who cares? They're two
Yeah,
models that
yeah.
put together.
Right.
Um, but that in itself was a lot of fun. Stuff like
Yeah.
that was fun. People were digging it, and I like when people dig a movie. When you that's one of the things about. So when I was in college, I went to film school, and I had a Russian. Oh my god, this is awesome. I had a Russian script teacher who told me our script sucks. My script all were badly written, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm writing at 3 in the morning because I have to give it to you, not because I want.
Right.
Um,
Right.
you know, and one of the things she said is like, look, the reasons why we like seeing movies in the theater, and it's a different experience when it's in a box in your house. First of all, it's how it's made. It's made to be shown on a bigger screen.
Right.
Secondly, as we can attest from Snyderverse. Secondly, secondly, the ritual. You pay. You go. It's like going into a cathedral. You do like when you go to any kind of religious service. There's
Yeah.
ritual involved. You walk in. You have a seat. You do this. You do that. If you were going to church, when you have to stand up. You have to sit down. When you have to. If you're Catholic, of course, or a
Right.
synagogue, whatever. All the different parts of the stuff you have to do in the house of worship. Movies are similar, and we are made to kind of like connect to those things. So when you go into a theater, the things that you get you pay for the movie ticket, you get your popcorn, you go find your seat, or you pick your seat, you sit down in the chair, you watch the commercials first, and then the trailers. God damn, and then you see the movie. So there's a lot of
Right.
anticipation, a lot of expectation, a lot of speculation before the movie even begins. And all that stuff is important because that brings you into the ritual of the film. And all that is greater, makes the experience greater uh, than you would have at home. Where at home, you if you have popcorn, you're not wearing pants. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's that. What I'm
Right.
saying, there's that thing.
Yeah.
You spend time. You don't have the same amount of ritual as compared to watching something on TV. So there's a very different feel for it, and I think it's very important to have that. To have that part. Rituals are important. Reason why people kept going to church and getting coronavirus because they needed that sense of community. It really is.
Right.
Rituals are part of community, and it's important to have those things. And having movie theaters back will return us to a place of community, and I think it's very important.
Right. Yeah, you took what kind of trailers were they showing? Out of curiosity, did they
They
show
showed
anything
all the R
interesting?
stuff. They showed no Disney
Oh,
movies. They showed
right.
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's right. I saw that the other right,
They
commercial for that.
showed the longer version of Suicide Squad. It was a minute and 50 or so. It's not. It wasn't as. It was great. It was different clips. You could probably see it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Different clips, really cool. And they showed what else?
No Black Widow.
No, it's not. It's the Warner Brothers movies. Why would they do that?
Right. That's right.
They didn't
That's
show
right.
what I didn't. What I found
That's
interesting
right.
is they didn't show the Dune trailer. You know,
Oh, that's
which I
right.
was
Dune's supposed
expecting
to
them
come
to
out.
show. Yeah, they didn't show that.
Right.
They showed Suicide Squad. They showed Mortal Kombat. They showed something else that was forget. If I can't remember, it must be forgettable.
It's forgettable. Right.
Yeah, but it was it was interesting. It was interesting. I was surprised.
So
I
is
was
this the
expecting I was expecting them to show Antlers, the trailer for Antlers. They didn't show that.
uh is this the end, you think, of the Godzilla world for now?
I think that they were kind of disappointed with King of Monsters, but they couldn't
Uh
stop the train on King Kong because it was already being made.
Right.
It's one of those things about those movies that they kind of like want to keep the momentum going. Is it the end? No. I kind of feel like they if they make that movie again, then there's no reason for me not to go to the theater and see it. You know what I mean? If they don't make it,
Right.
they got this movie was very Kong heavy, so we
Yeah,
got
it
to remember
was. It
that.
was
Like
it
it
was
was
very
Kong.
they wanted Kong to win this battle. For whatever
Yeah,
reason, they wanted Kong to win this battle.
I mean, Godzilla was just like kind of like, hey, I'm here to kick your ass. I gotta go. Hey, I'm here to
Right.
kick some ass. Oh, I kicked your
Right.
ass. You're done. You're done, son.
Right.
Oh wait, there's a monster. I'm gonna fight that guy. So there was that. I like the laser blast mouth blast.
Yes, yes, I
when
agree.
when he fights that the skull whatever from skull crawlers from the giant skull crawler from Skull Island
Yes,
at the demonstration, and you know, I don't want to give
it
everything
chops him
away.
in half. Right. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah,
That
you
was
just
pretty
said
cool.
it. Yeah. But Mechagodzilla was actually pretty cool in this. It's just like you said,
Yeah,
he just didn't look that great.
no, he looked like
But the
shit.
things that he was doing, that when he like flew over to, remember when like his back, all of a sudden had these like this
The missiles
flew over
and
to yeah,
he had a jetpack on his back,
right.
and he has a spinning tail with the thing, which is like everybody always does that. That was
Yeah, yeah,
cool. I was
right.
like, man, does the spinning tail thing have a laser on it too? Because it was glowing, and I was like, oh shit.
He's gonna
And
take
Khan
his
was like,
eye out, right?
Khan was like, I'm fucked. Um,
Yeah, right.
there was a lot of
You're
stuff that
right.
was just great. It was just, I just hated the way it looked.
Right. Yeah, I
You know,
agree. It looked a little too
the
cheesy.
clampy hands that spun. I was like, all right.
Yeah, yeah, right.
He was blasting him with his hands too, which I thought was cool.
Right.
So this thing was this monster, this Godzilla was Mechagodzilla was a badass. He's just an ugly
Right.
badass. What are you gonna do? You know. Otherwise, it was a lot of fun. Is it over? I don't think so. I think that maybe if Warner Brothers is smart, considering what their situation is, considering that they have a platform they need to feed,
Yeah.
um, it wouldn't be a bad idea, even if it was just exclusive for HBO Max. Which why do that? That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Why do that? Like, don't ever make like this day and date thing is going to be working for these guys, and maybe for some movies that won't be on HBO Go for 6 months or whatever, or 8 months or whatever, 4 months at this point, I think. Uh, maybe it's worth it for them not to go day and date with bigger movies, but definitely go day and
Right.
date with stuff
The
like Godzilla.
blockbuster.
Yeah, like Godzilla, the Godzilla movies, and then maybe that's a plan they should work out after the coronavirus is lessened. I don't think
Right.
it's ever going to go away, but after it becomes less of an issue. Um,
The reason why I asked, the reason why I ask is because after you turned me on to Shin Godzilla, and we saw the possibilities that they were leaning towards, and how cool they were trying to create Godzilla in another kind of version. I
context.
could see I could see Warner Brothers trying to maybe do something in that vein, because now you could create like a whole nother world
You
for,
do
you know
whatever
what
you
you're
want.
saying?
Well,
Right.
they created a whole that inner space thing. They created a whole new world for these characters.
Right.
Not
Right.
just the humans, but you can do a movie with just there with no monsters. No known monsters. You know.
Right.
Uh, this is their
No
they created
humans.
Monster Island basically.
Yes.
And I think that's great. I think it's
Right.
great. I think that yeah, you're right. They can do anything they want, and that's how we should treat movies. Remember last week when I was talking about Fox and how they sucked? They gave the idea or the thought process to studio executives. They're the last person that should be trying to fucking make a movie. Their whole thing is about
Yeah.
how do we get the marketing and the stuff. Do that job. Don't do the creative job. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Let somebody
Right.
who knows this, who's passionate about it, bring that to the screen and actually look as for example, the last batch of Batman movies that were made by Christopher Nolan, right? Did you
Yes.
like them?
I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them for what they were.
I liked the first one. I thought the second one was great when I
Right.
saw it, and I thought the third
The
one was
Bane, the
good.
Bane one, I wasn't too happy. I wasn't too thrilled with the
But it
Bane
was,
one. But
but you know what? But you know what? You know what I mean? Like, he's got to do something,
right,
right? Whatever.
right,
Tale of Two Cities, whatever. I had issue with the story structure myself, but man, and he gave Batman a happy ending. Guys, if you haven't seen the movie, don't look at me. All right,
all right. It's been out for like
It's been
20
out
years.
for 5 years. It's been out for 5 years. It's gonna get spoiled. And that's almost 10. That movie's almost 10 years old.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It came out. It
As a
came out like
matter of fact.
2007, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Right.
So he gave Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle a happy ending, which is all right.
Right.
But after seeing Dark Knight now, Dark Knight in the moment when you see it, you're like, this is fucking crazy. Now
Yeah.
it's like, what? This doesn't make any fucking sense. Like it doesn't make any sense. And
That's
if you
so
want to
true
break
to
it
that.
down, like, oh, the performances are distracting you from the fact that it doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, oh, and then Commissioner Gordon is dead, but he's driving the truck. And who told? It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh, and
That's so
Joker
true to that.
was on to him. It's like, really? He was? Because what?
Right. Right.
So there's that. There's that specific thing. So to me, but I mean, at least Nolan was passionate about the character, and he brought and
Yes.
him the actor, you know, what's his name?
Christian Bale. Christian
Christian
Bale.
Bale. Yeah,
Right.
Nolan Christian Bale. Yeah, Christian Bale brought something in the role that wasn't there before. You know, um,
But I mean, the problem is that we had Batman for fighting Mister Freeze for a long time. So anything that came after those cheesy movies, would have been considered great when you think about
right.
it. You know, just
But here's the thing about those cheesy movies: the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton and the second
I
Batman,
love, by the way. Yes,
both of those are
Michael Keaton, my favorite Batman, Michael Keaton.
my not mine, but I like him.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
My
Who's
favorite
yours then?
Batman,
Right.
I if you talk, I mean, my favorite Batman it was the Batman on TV because who gives a fuck? But my
Adam
favorite
West
movie
back in the day.
Batman right now is what's his name from the Justice League movies? I think his Batman is really on point.
But people hate him, by the way.
It's okay.
You mean Ben Affleck? You talking
Yeah,
about?
Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck
Right.
does a good Batman. He does.
See, this is why I'll tell you that I like um, the Beetlejuice as Batman.
Yeah.
So the
Batman.
reason why is because Batman, it's all about the money, right? That's why he is who he is. It's because he has this money, he could create all the gadgets, and in that movie. He knew he couldn't get Kim Basinger. He knew that he wasn't like the most good-looking guy, but he knew it was about the money and about the style. And his way, he used that. You know what I'm trying to say? That's why I enjoyed him in that movie because he knew there's no way I could compete with these guys, but he used it. I mean,
I
Ben
I
Affleck is still like, a good looking guy who could probably pick up girls. You know what I'm trying to say? But Michael Keaton, come on. He wasn't going to get Kim Basinger.
I think that
Back in 1886, he's not getting Kim
I
Basinger. Come on.
think to your point, you have a great point, and I kind of I appreciate that, but I kind of feel like the reason why out of all the Batman movies that have ever come out, that my favorite for a long time it was Dark Knight, but then I realized that I'm out of my mind
Okay.
because it doesn't make any sense, and when you get distracted by that, when that starts to distract you, the actual scenes, the action scenes and stuff are great, but when that particular thing starts to distract you, where you're like, why is this not? It's not clicking for me anymore because I'm doing the math and it's not coming up to a number I understand. You
Right.
know, you start to like wane on the characters and this stuff. Now that Christian Bale's Batman is a good Batman,
Yeah.
good Batman.
I agree. Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Much
Yeah.
better than George Clooney's Batman.
Ugh, George Clooney. Don't get me started on
Much
that
better
guy.
than Val Kilmer's Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my favorite Batman movie is Batman Returns, and it's gotten
Okay.
better for me. It's gotten better with age. Like every time I see it, I'm like, all right. Every time I see it, like this is cool. As a matter of fact, I might watch that tonight because it's on the Batman collection on HBO Max.
Nice.
I think you can't see this, but one of the things maybe you can. Let me see if I can. I don't want to fuck with that. One of the things I have a picture of Catwoman from the bat. Not, it's not. It's an art. It's a low art, low whatchamacallit art. But it's just basically this painting of a big-eyed back Catwoman holding a Batman doll and a Shrek doll from that movie. And the reason why I like that is because first of all, that's really funny. Second of all, Christopher Walken as Shrek is one of the best villains ever. Completely
Right.
crazy. And the penguin was hilarious. But so the emotional connection between Batman and Selena Kyle in that movie, right, was really kind of awesome.
Yeah.
And you saw that there was chemistry, there was electricity, there was something happening there with those two. And it made the movie much better for me. And I've always liked Michelle Pfeiffer, but in that movie specifically, she did a great job being that character. And it's a Tim Burton movie, so again, another movie that I'm kind of like, oh, Tim Burton, So
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
but it's that, it's kind of like that, and it's kind of cool. And I really appreciated that movie a lot. And like I said, it came out in 1989. No,
Yeah.
it came out in
Yeah.
92.
Because the Michael Keaton came out like 86 or around there, 87, right? Something like that.
89.
Yeah.
Batman 89.
89?
Hold on a second.
Really?
I gotta look it up. Now.
Yeah.
Batman.
Where's this damn producer? Why is he not doing his job?
This one, Batman 89. Yep, 1989. Superhero directed by Tim.
Really? 89. Okay.
1989. With that crazy trailer. Batman Returns.
All right.
Returns.
Now you mentioned his name, so I have to throw this out there because you mentioned his
Yeah,
name.
Batman Returns,
You
1992.
92.
So that's the year
With
that I
the
got married.
see, good year.
Not really. No, it was fine.
So I gotta throw this out there because you mentioned his name, and um, George Clooney, right? You mentioned him in Batman. I had this big argument with people at work the other day about George Clooney
Well, they had to turn
because
down the baby metal to do that, right? They had to lower the
yeah, it's
baby
the same
metal.
people because we have a couple hours to kill. We just go from Baby Metal to George Clooney basically the same day.
Have you heard this song? It's great. Anyway,
So besides Batman, which you named, and besides like ER stuff, name something that George Clooney has done that really catches your attention. Because this guy has become Mr. Hollywood over the years. He's Mr. Rat Pack kind of guy. But I just don't see, besides those two things, nothing jumps out on him. And every time I would ask somebody at work, they would maybe say The Descendants. They would say kind of things, but nothing that like makes me say, yes, I got to see that movie over and over again.
all
Right?
right.
Now
I'll tell
compare
you.
that before you do, then I said to add a little more drama to the situation. I said I would rather have Ryan Reynolds' career over George Clooney, not his power in Hollywood, of course, but Ryan Reynolds is like you see his movies and you were like, yeah, I would like to see that movie again. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, but I've never done that with any movie that George Clooney has done. So that's and I want to hear your take on it. Oh,
I'm looking at his
and Ocean's 11, of course.
I'm looking at his
IMDb.
IMDb page. Okay, and I'm gonna. First of all, I think that George Clooney is a consummate American actor. If you want a movie, if you want to make a movie and you want to put somebody in it, even if it's in a bit part, to do
I
the
agree.
work for you, yeah, you put him in. So let's
agree.
take a look.
I agree.
Let's take a look
I
at his
agree with
filmography. And these are movies that we know of. This is TV shit. All right.
Right.
The first big movie he was in was a movie called The Peacemaker. That's a piece of shit. It was one of
Yes.
the first
Like a nuclear
SKG
warhead would.
movies. SKG
Right.
Spielberg, which are DreamWorks movies. It wasn't very good. But
Yeah.
Out of Sight is a
good.
fan fucking tastic movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should see it.
But nobody remembers that movie. I only remember
I
it because that was
remember that
kind of
movie.
like right. But you're
only
you're
movie that I
deep
like-
into the
J-Lo's
movie
in
world.
that
You went to
movie too.
film school. You're right. You're right.
J-Lo's in that
And she
movie
got thrown
too, and I love her in that movie, and I hate J-Lo. I hate her. Hate her.
Right.
But she's really good in that movie.
We're the same. We have two thumbs up with that. I do too.
There's a movie called Three Kings that he's in. Good movie.
Yeah, good movie.
Oh brother, where art thou?
Good movie.
Great.
But
movie.
I forgot he even made that movie. See what I'm trying to say? Think about
That's not
it. Like
it's not his fault though. It's not his fault.
I
Ryan
understand.
Reynolds has his beautiful. Ryan Reynolds is gorgeous. Ryan Reynolds is the guy that you want to be.
He's dreamy. He's dreamy.
You're like, hey, Ryan Reynolds. But George Clooney is like that every guy. He was in
Right.
Three Kings. He was in Oh Brother Without. I love Oh Brother. He was in The Perfect Storm. I've saw that
Perfect
movie
Storm.
once.
Right.
I don't need to see it again. But he was
Right.
great in The Perfect Storm. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12.
Yes.
He was in the movie Solaris that I can't watch. I just can't watch it.
Yeah. Right.
Here
we go. Here comes the dip. Here comes the dip. Come on.
Well, he was in Spy Kids 3, and
Yeah.
Ocean's 12, right? Syriana, which is another movie that's really fucking hard to watch, man.
Yeah.
He produced
I saw that in the
Emma
movie.
Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And if you haven't seen that movie, I haven't either, but I hear it's really good.
Yeah. That was based on a true story, right?
Bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Michael Clayton, which is a really good movie.
Yeah.
So he makes these movies that maybe you don't remember them, but they have weight, and they have specific stuff.
You missed
that movie
from
was the football
From
movie?
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, that was a football movie. I saw that movie too. I don't remember seeing it, but I saw that
Right.
movie. It was a good movie.
Right.
So he has
From
these-
Dusk to Don't, and you can't say From Dusk to Dawn because that wasn't his movie. That was this girl's movie. Because the only reason I remember that movie is because of the dance scene in that movie with Selma Hayek. That's the only thing I remember about that.
It was a Robert Rodriguez movie,
Yes. I think one of his first, wasn't it?
and I didn't see that. That's funny. Yeah, that's a movie that you should know.
Right.
Wow, it's not in here.
And that was a Tarantino movie. Tarantino was in that. That was a sidekick, Tarantino, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tarantino was in it, and it was Robert Rodriguez movie, and it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was
it's
a lot of
not
fun.
on this list. Holy shit, that was like 1992 as well. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
out of sight is on here. 898.
Early to mid 90s, yeah.
Yeah, let me see something. Baby Talk.
Now
Roseanne.
bring up Ryan Reynolds and let's see the movies that you would watch
Wait,
over and
I'm
over and
not
over
done with
again.
George Clooney. We gotta finish with George. George. So he's also done. He's done lots of movies with bit parts. He was in Tomorrowland, which was like a sad state of
Yeah.
affairs. Poor guy. There was a movie
Yeah.
called Hail Caesar. That's another Coen Brothers movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
He's made
Right.
three of them, and all of them are really good. Well, Intolerable Cruelty are, but the other two are good.
Yeah.
Um, he's in the Catch 22 miniseries, and he's in Midnight Sky, and he's in a movie called Grizzly 2: The Revenge, which I have not seen, but it's really funny. And he was in Gravity, of course, and he was really good
Gravity.
in
Yes.
Gravity.
That was a good movie.
Um,
Great directing style movie, The Gravity.
yeah, I mean,
Loved it.
it was a good movie with no scientific back. Now you're saying let's take a
Yeah.
look at Ryan Reynolds. We know
Let's
Ryan
do
Reynolds
it,
'cause
baby.
We know all about Ryan Reynolds.
Team Reynolds, baby. I'm Team Ryan right now.
It's like first thing you put Ryan in IMDb. Ryan Reynolds. Boom.
Exactly. You can put 10,000 George, but there's only gonna be one Ryan.
All right. Ryan Reynolds was a kid actor.
Right. Boom. Look at that.
Well, I mean, he went on TV. Yeah, he was a kid actor, so he did some stuff. Um, he's in TV movies, lots of TV movies. He was in the Lonesome Dove sequel. He was in Sabrina Teenage Witch.
Which was huge back in the day, Sabrina
Yeah.
Teenage Witch.
Outer Limits back in the '90s was doing work.
Yeah.
Then he was in
Bounced
movies
around a
like Coming
bit.
Soon, Dick, We All Fall Down, Two Guys in a Pizza Place. Oh, the thing that put him on the map, of course, is Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place. That's
Right.
the show that put him on the map. It was only
The
on
show,
for a couple
right.
of years, but people like him. And then
Had a cult following.
we start to see things like Van Wilder, the Van Wilder movies, right? That's
Right.
really kind of like, the movie that kind of make him think about it, right?
Like if you're a college kid, when that movie comes out, like that's like a movie you watch over and over and over again.
Right.
Let's be honest. At the time.
So he has that kind of Q rating from that.
Right.
Just want to see if this is the one I'm thinking about. No, he's in the remake of The In-Laws,
Yes, I do remember that.
which is funny.
Right.
But then you see him do that funny joke on Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. And then he's in Blade Trinity, which is the movie that kind of put him on the map for me.
Right.
Blade Trinity was really great. Blade Trinity, great movie. Great movie.
Right.
Just
It
a lot
was.
of
It
fun.
was. I agree. For what it was a lot of fun. Right.
Then he's in Waiting. Then he's in my favorite movie that he's ever made, Just Friends. If you haven't seen
Right.
Just Friends, that
Good
movie's
movie.
funny as fuck. You should see it.
Yes, I agree.
He was in Smoking
So far, we
Aces.
got 3 straight winners.
Yeah. So if we're talking about, they're fun, right?
Right.
Then there's Smoking Aces in the 9 where he plays an asshole in both of those.
Right.
Chaos Theory, Adventureland, which is another great coming of age movie. So he knows how to freaking pick them, right? He's picking these
Right,
movies that
right.
keep him on. He's in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
That's right. That's right. Here comes the superhero world now.
He's in The Proposal, which was a romantic comedy that people really liked.
Yeah.
Made
Not my thing, but it'll be on Lifetime movies over and over again.
And then he started doing these movies like stuff like Buried and Safe House. And,
Yes. Safe House is an underrated movie. Good movie, Safe House.
Good
With
movie.
Denzel.
He does little bits where he shows up. He's uncredited, like in Ted. He was the
Right.
voice of Turbo. And all that in the middle of that, he made the Green Lantern movie, which is unfortunate.
Right.
He does these little things where he shows up.
But he met his wife there in that movie, so it was a win for him. He met his Blake Lively.
A Million Ways to Die in the West. He's a part in that one.
Right.
And then he starts doing movies like Deadpool, and Deadpool is the thing that made him a superstar, right?
Yeah.
Because it was fun.
And you can watch Deadpool 1 and 2 over and over again and find something different and funny each time you watch.
Right. He's also in movies that I kind of think that are fun, but people don't get to see. There's a monster movie called Life, which has him and Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and it's just a fun movie, man. Monster
Right.
from Mars ends up on a space station, starts eating people. It's great. Um, the Hitman's Bodyguard, you
Right.
know, which I haven't seen actually, but I hear it's fun. Um, you know,
So besides Green Lantern, I don't hear any crazy bombs in this movie. And Green Lantern still for made money. It just wasn't
I
didn't do what
mean,
they wanted it to do.
I can
But
tell you when he's in a movie, I'll see it. Like he was in Detective. The reason why I watched Detective Pikachu is because he was the voice of Pikachu.
good movie,
Only
good
reason.
movie,
Yeah, and it
good
was
movie.
fun, right? It was fun.
It was fun.
He was
I
in.
don't mind when my kid
By
wants
the
to watch
way,
that.
remember I keep telling you he's in these little. He does these little things where he's in a movie for like 5 minutes or whatever, and he kills it every time. Hobbs and
Yeah.
Shaw. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
That's right.
Freaking
That's
hilarious in that movie. Fun as fuck.
That's right.
Six Underground. He's in the movie that he made that ended up on Netflix. Six Underground. If you haven't seen it, you like big explosions and stupid shit, that's the movie for you.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't see that one, but I wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah. So he has, and here's the thing about Ryan Reynolds. This guy's fucking busy. So Free Guy was supposed to come out last year, and now they're pushing it to this year, and I'm going to see that in the theater as well.
All right.
Then he has, these are the movies that he has coming out that he had, and these are all the movies he has coming out, right? The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, Red
Right.
Notice, The Adam Project, Father Mucka is a TV series show.
Right.
Everyday Parenting is in pre-production. Clue, he's going to be in the Clue movie. He's going to be in a Christmas Carol, a movie called The Christmas Carol. Is it about the Christmas Carol? I don't know. He's going to be in it. Deadpool 3.
Boom. Blockbuster. Blockbuster bonanza.
So yeah, he is definitely the actor's actor right now. Not that he's
Right.
the actor's actor. He's the guy that you call in to do the funny bits in the movies, right?
Right,
And he does
right.
great. I have no problem with Ryan Reynolds.
And because he's good looking, you're gonna get the funny people like him, and you're gonna get women coming to the movie theater. So
And
it's a
that's
win-win
fine.
for everybody.
But it's not just he's good looking. He has a great
I agree.
personality, right? He's funny.
I agree.
He's fun. Blah blah blah. But saying that George Clooney doesn't have anything, maybe.
Look, I'm on this hill. I'm gonna die on this hill. You're not gonna change me at this point.
Right, but still.
I would love Clooney's cachet in Hollywood, of course. But if I had to pick a career, I think I'm going Ryan Reynolds. If I had
know
to
what?
pick a career,
You know
a
what?
body of work.
If I had to pick a career, Christopher Walken. How about that? Started out dancing.
That's a whole different level. That's a
Moved
whole
into
other
be the
level
King
now.
of New York. Now he's
Right.
if any movie
Right.
you want somebody who can't understand but looks cool,
Right.
you hire Christopher Walken.
That's true. That's a whole different level.
I'm waiting for Marvel to hire him for something.
Right.
You won't understand what he's saying, but
Right.
uh,
Talk about a guy who had co-following. Everybody loves Christopher Walken.
yeah,
Everybody loves
fantastic. Christopher Walken's fantastic. All right. How long have we been doing this for? I have no idea. A week? It's been a week.
All I know is we went from The Border to Christopher Walken. You don't get that anywhere else, people.
You don't. Where did you get it?
You just
Mind
don't.
map. Try to mind map that, motherfucker. That's right. I used the F word. This is not for children, by the way. If you're having your kid watch it, maybe they'll learn something, but I don't know about that. So yeah, now that I'm getting good at throwing these up, I'll probably throw this up in the next day or two so people can enjoy it.
Nice.
This weekend,
And we'll let our family know. We got family
we should let
clamoring,
family know.
man.
I have it on Facebook. No one's reaching out to me. Is that you? Yeah. But I think that we'll break that. I think this is the week.
This is it.
We have our Godzilla review, and I didn't tell you what I thought of the movie.
Right.
I thought, right? You said that you liked it, right?
Right.
You said you had a good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
And I
My
said
kids
stuff
enjoyed
like-
it. My kids enjoyed it. That's how you know it reached all demographics. My kid was like, "I like this movie, Dad." That's all you need to know. That means it's Academy Award gold in there.
By the way, today's April 1st, and
Yes.
it's also Toshiro Mifune's birthday. Toshiro Mifune was in Godzilla movies.
See?
I got two more things to say about Godzilla, Toshiro Mifune. Before I tell you, one more thing to say. Before I tell you what I thought about the Godzilla movie. I'm making you wait till the end, kids. So, I really, really liked King Kong. I liked the fact that it was a better, it's like you have the King, you've had a few, over the last 10 years, we had a couple of King Kong movies. Like, there wasn't just one, we had a few.
Yes.
But my favorite King Kong movie of all time is a movie called King Kong Escapes. And
Okay.
I think we talked about this. Maybe we haven't. Maybe I did it on another live view of cast. King Kong lives on King Kong Monster Island minding his own business. this guy named Doctor Who, Hu, needs to mine for element X in Antarctica, and they to get it, they build a giant King Kong robot to do the
That's
digging.
right. That's
And you
right.
think
Now,
to
now I
yourself,
remember it.
why
Yes.
don't they just have a fucking drill? No, no, we need a King Kong robot. Well, the robot breaks down because the radiation from element X breaks it down. So they go and get the real Kong to do the work. They bring him in, and that's why I like the helicopter scene because they have a helicopter
Yes.
scene in it.
Right. Yeah.
And they put a thing in Kong's ear, and Kong like starts digging because then he kind of like, escapes. That's why it's called King Kong Escapes. He escapes, and he swims from Antarctica, wherever they're from, to Japan. You're like, okay, whatever. Where he gets to fight the other robot, the giant King
Right.
Kong robot. And by the way, really cool looking robot. I mean, this thing
Yes,
is
he
really cool.
does. Right.
Has
He
speakers
looks like
in
a
his
real
mouth.
monkey. Right.
Has speakers in his
Yes.
mouth.
That's right. That's right.
Eat shit, Kong, and I dropped the girl. Doctor Who, why? You curse? Uh, so Kong fights the robot, and then we don't know if I don't even know. He just knocks it down or whatever, then he leaves. And
Right.
the blonde, they have a blonde woman in it who talks like this throughout the movie. And at the end, she's like, Kong! Because Kong's leaving. Like, he's going back to Monster Island. It's like swimming around.
Right. He's like, I'm out of here.
The water. She's like, Kong, come back, Kong! Wait, Kong! And you're like, really? You're a lady. He's a giant lady. um, I mean, I don't get it. He has like sex appeal. Kong's like, hey.
Yeah.
He's at his house wearing his red his smoking jacket and a fez with the palm tree. Like, hey, what's going on? Um,
What did you think of the Jackson movie when he was skating in Central Park? What did you think about this?
it was too long, but
Yeah.
no, it was good. It was like my favorite. Like, there's been a few of them, right? So you have
Right.
the remake from '76. You have the King Kong Lives from '80 or something. It was terrible, but he made a movie with King Kong in it.
Yeah.
It actually his wife, or he had a heart put in his body. Who knows? And then you had the remake, and then which Universal that's Universal was like, come make a movie for us, guy who made Lord of the Ring movie. He's like, I'll make King Kong. And like,
Yeah.
well, okay, I got an idea.
Yeah.
The thing that's great about King Kong is the guy who plays the dad in the Godzilla movies is in King Kong.
You can't make it up.
He's the hero white guy.
Yeah.
Who like is in the monster pit. He's fighting the insects and shit. Remember him?
Yes. Yeah. That was a cool scene.
That was like the best scene in the movie.
Right.
You know, other than Kong killing the. Look, don't think I'm shitting on what's his name's King Kong movie. I'm not. It's just really long.
Peter Jackson's.
And,
Right.
if they broke it up in two parts, you could see two of them or whatever. But it's a long movie.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't good. It's good. My mother-in-law wanted to go, and we went to see it. She fell asleep halfway through, and I was like, whatever. An hour. They spent an hour on the boat. I mean,
I know. Yeah.
wrap it up.
Right.
But character and all that shit, whatever. So yeah. So I thought my feeling about this movie, about the Godzilla King Kong movie, was it was great. It did its job. It was what it was supposed to do. You had two monsters fighting. You were like, these two monsters are fighting. Holy shit! You had a good time. It didn't stick to the screen. It did things different than the ones before it. And I think the ones before it were playing it too close to the vest. Like, they were treating it too real. And that was the problem. You get caught in the pathos of it, and you lose sight of what this is about, really. A guy in a rubber suit. A digital puppet in a rubber suit or whatever. And if you're going to do, like, one of the things, like, our cousin who saw Godzilla, and he was like, the first Godzilla movie, I said it was great, because I hadn't seen Godzilla in a long time. He said, why would you show up a fight scene and not show it? And I was all right, you had a great point there. Because there's a scene, the first fight scene with them, you don't see. You see things around.
Yeah, right.
You don't see the actual fight.
Right. You see the humans running, but you don't really see them. Right.
You see the recording on CNN.
Yes.
With Wanda from WandaVision as the mom.
Right.
Her and the husband from the movie played brother and sister in the Avengers movie, and you're kind of like,
Just a little weird.
You know what I'm saying? Like, ooh.
Yeah. Well, they have chemistry.
But no, I liked it. I liked those movies, but this one kind of like did what they were supposed to do, which is you don't care about the people. Like the people don't matter.
Right.
It's like who cares? Like just that's what they're doing? Great. But the best thing about it was the bad guys got what they deserved.
Right.
Every bad guy
So
got what they deserved.
right.
Which I kind of appreciated. I appreciated that. So good for what it's worth. You should see it. Bigger than your screen. You won't believe it. And a lot of fun.
Right.
Winter Soldier 3. Did you watch the Winter Soldier at all? Did you watch the first
Yes,
episode?
the second I saw the first two. Yes.
Yeah. Did we talk about it before? I don't know if we talked about it.
We talked about the first one. The second one just came out. I like how they're arguing about why did you give up the shield. I enjoy that. I'm enjoying that aspect. Like, what were you doing? What were you thinking? Why did you do this? And he's like, look, man, I had bills to pay. I don't got time for this. Basically, you know. So I'm enjoying that dynamic because you're seeing something that they don't talk about in superhero shows or movies, which is why I've always liked Spider-Man more than all of them, because you would always hear that side of Peter more than the superhero part, and they're doing it with these characters.
Yeah, well, that's the Marvel way. You're a superhero, but you can't get a fucking loan.
Yeah.
The other thing that I found really interesting, the second episode introduced the new Captain America, right?
Right.
And the new Captain America is Wyatt Russell. That's the actor's name. Wyatt Russell is let me see. He's Russell. Russell T. Davies. Am I spelling it wrong? Wyatt Russell. One L.
And I like him in this so far. So far, he's playing it. You know,
Wyatt Russell is the son of Kurt Russell.
interesting.
And Goldie Hawn. And he doesn't look like Kurt Russell until you look at him in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks more like Goldie Hawn. He has very soft features, except when you look at him in the eye, and then all of a sudden he's Kurt Russell. And I kind of like him because he was in a movie called Overlord. And if you haven't seen Overlord, you should check it out because it's really a lot of fun. He's been in a lot of movies, actually. He's been in a few movies. But he's been playing the badass more often. And he has this look of meanness that gets in his face that really is intimidating and is actually pretty awesome. So I'm enjoying the fact that they introduced this guy. I also enjoy the fact that they talk about Isaiah Bradley, who is the Black Captain America. And it has all these intentions about what happened. And he says like, oh, this guy, I remember this guy. I ripped half his arm off and so. And you were like, oh, shit. I was in jail for 30 years. Like, holy, what? What's going on?
Right.
And I think this all ties back into those new super soldiers that we're seeing because Isaiah Bradley is the most accessible, right? To Hydra and a lot of other people. So if they were trying to cook the books on this guy, if Hydra was trying to cook the books on this guy to make a new Captain America, that serum exists somewhere, and these new kids got it. And I also think maybe Captain America, the new Captain America, has it too.
That's what it was. Well, they showed him throwing the shield around. So like, a normal human probably couldn't throw the shield in that capacity. I mean, remember when he was in the
throw
test?
You might not be able to throw as hard as Captain America.
Right.
I mean, Falcon throws it. Falcon threw it.
But that's true. That's true. Bucky
got
an arm. He's a robot.
His special arm, but he threw it.
Right.
So I don't think
that's true.
It's like you gotta get trained. I mean, Cap has faster reflexes. He's able to do stuff. Plus, it's CGI, so it doesn't fucking matter. But the idea of him fighting with the shield has always been great. And every time they show the choreography of it, it's fantastic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode. It's coming out tomorrow. I'm also looking forward to the newest episode of Invincible. If you haven't seen that on Amazon Prime, you should check it out, but don't sit around your kids even though it's animated. It's bloody as fuck. It's really bloody.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I can check it out.
Yeah.
I like to so I like to watch these Netflix shows all in a bunch. So in the past, I've watched, like, for example, like, these shows, I always watch them in season 2 because if they don't make it to season 2, then I'm not going to waste my time. So that's when I kind of start getting into that's how I've done it in the past. Because of this podcast now, I'm breaking this rule, but that's how I've done it in the past. Basically.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you, there's not going to be a season 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's not going to be a season 2.
No, but right.
You
But
know?
that's why I'm watching these. Right.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of cool that there isn't. You know, I like that. I like these one-offs. I like all this stuff
Yeah.
before Black Widow. That's the other thing. Black Widow is supposed to happen before these shows got on the air. So there's stuff that happens in these shows that are connected to Black Widow,
Right.
which I will also see in the theater when they release it on July 9th. I'm not fucking around.
Well, by
Um,
then I'll be fully vaccinated, so we can
yeah,
check that one out together.
that's the other thing. I'm not wait like there's another movie that's coming out that I want to see, and I forget what it is, but I
Right.
want to see it. You know, like immediately. Hold on a second.
Right.
The movie. One last look. Well, look at that stuff here, kids. Movie schedule, schedules, March,
Is it an action movie? Like a Marvel movie?
May now. We're in May, April. I mean, we're in April, May.
Well, Dune you definitely want to see in the theater.
Yeah, but that's not happening until October. I mean,
Oh,
I
they
might
pushed
go
it
see
back to October.
Nobody. Might see that movie. I'm definitely not seeing Chaos Walking. There's Minari, but I'm not. I'm not. If it doesn't have explosions in it, I'm not seeing it. I saw Tenet. I hated it. Oh my god,
I saw your review on that.
fucking hated Tenet. It made me angry. Um, yeah. Trying to see here. Trolls World Tour. What? 2020. What?
Like,
What?
oh, believe me, that came out. Believe me, that came out already. I can tell you
Yeah,
that right off the bat.
you've seen it many times since then.
I'm gonna probably see it right after this.
Again. Here we. Okay. So we're talking about March. We're talking about. So Nobody's Out. I hear it's really good, but I can wait for that one. I'm not gonna run to see that shit. The Unholy, which is a scary movie, but I'm not seeing it. Let's see. Voyagers. Voyagers.
Voyagers.
That's not the one I'm thinking about. Mortal Kombat. Don't care. Michelle versus the Machines. Human Factor. Wrath of Man. Okay, maybe no. Probably not. Where is this thing? Army of the Dead. Army of the Dead, but that's going to be on Netflix. A Quiet Place 2 is coming out on May 28th. I'm seeing that shit in the theater because I missed Quiet Place in the
Yeah,
theater. Quiet Place was fantastic.
it was good. Yeah, Quiet Place is good.
Um, Conjuring, Spirit Untamed. No. In the Heights, don't care. Hitman's Wife, Bodyguard. Oh, how interesting. That's
In
interesting.
the Heights, interesting.
Pixar's Luca comes out, but that's going to be on Disney Plus and theater. F9. Oh, Fast and the Furious 9. Oh,
Can't,
yeah.
can't go wrong with that. It's a win-win.
Top Gun Maverick comes out on the July 2nd weekend.
No, that's right. Top Gun.
Top Gun. Black Widow comes out July 2nd for Top Gun. July 9th for Black Widow. Cinderella.
So July 2nd seems just that July 4th weekend seems like that's what Hollywood is circling to be, we're back kind of thing.
No, I mean, the Top Gun Maverick's coming out then, yeah.
Yeah, I think you got Black Widow right after it.
Yeah. Jungle Cruise after that on the 30th, and that movie looks
Yep.
great. I was looking forward
Yeah.
to seeing it,
Right.
last year.
Before the world fell apart.
Free Guy comes out on August 13th. Suicide Squad comes out on August 6th. Hotel Transylvania 4? Really?
I can recite the first three if you want.
Candyman finally gets released. Malignant, Infinite, Many Saints of Newark. September 24th, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. And then on October, Addams Family 2, the animated movie. And then Dune comes out on October 1st. And then right after that, No Time to Die. Which I think they should move it up. I think No Time to Die should be a
Yeah.
summer movie. There's nothing happening in
it's
summer. Bring it up, man. You know?
well they're harping on that
Afterlife
movie.
gets pushed. Eternals gets pushed to November 5th, and Ghostbusters Afterlife gets pushed to November 11th. But there
That's
was
right,
another movie that was
Ghostbusters.
supposed to come out that was a Marvel movie, and that was Shang-Chi. Did I miss it?
They might have just taken it off this year.
And then so the Eternals come out November 1st, right? November 5th. Fucking Spider-Man comes out December 17th. Damn, that's early. That's close.
Yeah.
So where does Shang-Chi fall? They got to give it some space between Shang-Chi comes out September 3rd. I think some stuff is going to be pushed up.
Yeah.
Because of
well, they're probably gonna see the numbers the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks and see how many more get vaccinated, and then they'll start changing things.
Yeah, vaccination schedules are going to be a big deal, and I think that it's
Right.
they're pushing it that far back so they can move it up if they need to. But I think there's
Yeah.
no reason why they can't bring the Bond movie into August. No reason why they can't do that.
Right.
There's not going to be enough stuff out there for people to see, and by that time, maybe more than 2 million people will be vaccinated.
Right.
I mean, unless there's some horrendous, a new version of the virus that can eat people's brains, I think we should be okay. You know?
Like the stuff. Remember the stuff in the
Oh,
Evergreen
the
movie? in
stuff!
the
What a
80s?
piece of garbage. I didn't like it. I know it's supposed to be a classic B movie.
It's what it is. Yeah, it's terrible. It's just great that it's eating people alive.
It's terrible. All right. Since I put stuff up, guys. If you haven't seen, we put up a few episodes this week, and we're all caught up. And this week, and hopefully, this will be up by Friday.
But this is the one. This is the big one. This is the one that launches it all.
We've been talking about this for months. Like, hey, get it! We were supposed to see it last week, and it didn't come out. We're like, why'd you push it off? What happened? You pushed it off. All right. I think we're done. We're done.
Yep. Good times.
Kids, thanks for coming. Tell your wives and tell your neighbors and best friends about the show. Let them come and see it. Don't tell your kids though. They don't want to see this. It's like,
maybe they do.
It's like when you go to the zoo, and an ape gets up and you see his hairy ass, his hairy ass, and you're like putting your hands over the kid's eyes. And the kid's like, I want to see that. I want to see what is that? And the kid goes.
Right.
But somehow an animal's hairy ass is offensive because
It's out of control.
when the monkeys jerk off, it's like, oh.
Who knew?
Who knew? That monkey did. Oh my God. He's going to town on his monkey team. All right. It's good to
On
see
that
you.
monkey theme, we'll see you next time.
That's right. We're done with the monkey. See you next time.
Take it
Kids.
easy.
Have a good one.